How can you be sure to have an absolutely great 2019? Not just a year in which you get everything done, but a year that you actually enjoy. A year that you actually enjoy working on your business, you actually enjoy reaching your goals, you actually enjoy your resolutions. How can you plan to have your best year ever? Happy New Year and welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm with me, Tara Swiger. This is episode 239. And today I want to talk about how to plan to have your best year ever. Now that it's 2019, you're probably thinking about the new year, what you want to get done. And it's really important that you both reach the goals you have set, you actually get done the things you want to get done, but also that you enjoy your time doing them, that you feel like you weren't just struggling the whole time that you were trying to reach your goal, that you weren't wearing yourself out, that you weren't going about goals that you actually don't care about reaching. Because what's the point in building a business, in trying to create time and money freedom for yourself if you actually don't enjoy yourself while you're creating it? Because the thing about your business is you're never going to be done. You're always going to be in the middle of building it. You're always going to be working on the next project. You're always going to be working towards the next goal. You're never going to feel like you're completely done. So if reaching your goals, the process of working towards them is unpleasant, then your life is unpleasant. Your business is going to be unpleasant because there's no day where you're ever going to feel like, okay, I'm all done building. I'll just sit here and enjoy this. It's always going to be a process of building and growing and changing and setting new goals. So going about reaching those goals has to be enjoyable, pleasurable, fun, joyful, or else there's no point in going towards them. So that is what business is. Business is growing, changing, setting new goals, learning from the past and moving forward. Maybe it's growth and getting bigger, or maybe it's being more centered or spending less time on your business or streamlining. That's what I did in 2018. I did a lot of streamlining. It was still growth because it was changing, but it was like the kind of growth that's pruning and then growing a different direction. So you got to be sure that you're enjoying the process of moving towards a goal as much as you plan on enjoying the results of the goal. So that is what I want you to keep in mind as you work towards your 2019. That is going to help you have your best year ever if you actually enjoy working towards your goal. Because, spoiler alert, you might not reach your goal. You might not complete your resolutions. It might not work out the way you thought. But did you enjoy the process of getting there? If so, you had a great year. If not, then let's change the ways that you work towards your goal. So in order to do this, I have a couple tips for your new year planning, ways to make sure that you actually enjoy the year ahead, no matter what your goal is, no matter what, if you reach it or you don't reach it. Here's a couple tips for how to enjoy the year ahead. Number one, identify how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel as you move towards your goal? How do you want to feel as you build your business? How do you want to feel as you work on this new social media campaign, or you write these emails, or you create your new product line? How do you want to feel as you're working on it? And how do you want to feel when you reach your goal? What is the feeling you think this goal will bring? What is the sense that you feel or the benefit it will bring into your life? What does that feeling feel like? Now, you can check out Danielle Laporte's Desire Map. I have it linked up in the show notes, where she talks more about feelings and goals. So if you really want to tie your feelings to your goals, she talks a lot about how you can create kind of a vision for your life based on how you want to feel. Whether you choose to do that or not, you can still think about how do you want to feel when you reach that goal so that when you reach it, it feels great and amazing, and the whole process towards it feels that same way. So you can also bring these feelings into how you actually plan for your goal. How do you sit down and do your planning? Are you enjoying it? Are you in a good mood? Here's the thing. It can be really, really hard to plan for the future when you're not feeling great. If you're feeling constricted, if you're feeling closed up, if you're feeling sad about the last year, you are not going to have the vision and the inspiration and the creativity to plan a really great year. So the first thing you need to do is feel good before you start planning. I know this might sound silly, but it is so true. And actually last year I said this in a podcast episode or a webinar, and I had so many comments that said that helped me so much because I had been sitting there trying to plan my year when I was just not in a good place. I just didn't feel great about things. I didn't feel very hopeful. So I waited till I felt more hopeful. And sure enough, I had a million ideas about what I could do, about how I could grow, about where I wanted to go. This is really important. There are actually studies that show that when you're in a negative frame of mind, you see fewer creative problem solving. You see fewer creative solutions to your problems. When you're in a happy or uplifted or positive state of mind, you see far more possible solutions to your problem. So it's not possible to be in a great, wonderful state of mind 24/7, but you sure can make sure you get there before you sit down to do your planning. So this is kind of tip like 0 is get in a good place before you sit down to do your planning. Maybe for you, like for me, it's like going to the coffee shop and getting a fancy drink and getting a cookie, like sitting there with my planning notebooks and just like journaling for a while and feeling really grateful first and then thinking about what's possible. For you, it might be cuddling up on the couch under a blanket with a hot chocolate and your dogs. Whatever is going to get you feeling really good and excited, make sure you do that. And if you're planning with your family, maybe you bring your kids along or your partner, you guys are making a plan together, make sure that you're enjoying the experience. You can't strap everybody down and say, we're going to do this whether you want to or not, and expect to get a good outcome. So get in a good mood first. Do the things that will make you feel like you want to feel when you reach your goal, because it's all part of the process. This is all your actual life and your business. So before you plan, get in a great mood. Now, you can actually bring the feelings you want to feel into your planning, and you can do it right now. So think about how you want to feel, and then ask yourself, what would make me feel this way right now? Is it connected? Is it joyful? Is it peaceful? What could you do to feel that way right now? Maybe you put on your essential oils in the diffuser, or you rub them on yourself. Maybe you get yourself a nice drink. Maybe you get warmed up, or you take off your sweater if you're too hot. What can you do to feel better now? And then sit down to plan. Now, along with what can you do to feel better now, my second tip is to actually make a list of things that make you feel the way you want to feel. What are the things you do that shift your mood? Or if how you want to feel when you reach your goal is joyful and proud of yourself, what can you do to feel joyful and proud of yourself right now before you reach that goal? Because here's the thing, it might take you a long time to reach the goal. So how could you feel that way now, all during the process? And by the way, this doesn't have to be related to your work. For me, it's to put on my Happy Sparkly playlist, which is actually what it's titled, and dance around the living room while my dogs judge me. For you, it might be something different. It might be going for a run. It might be getting out in the sun. It might be eating a specific meal. It might be putting on a hand-knit sweater. It might be a bunch of things that make you feel that way. It might be having a great call with a friend. Whatever it is that's going to make you feel the way you want to feel, write that down on your list. This is going to be your go-to list for when you're feeling stuck in your work. You're going to do something that makes you feel well. And you don't have to worry about it integrating with your work, with it having anything to do with your work, because you're going to start to get ideas for how this applies to your work. So for example, maybe you want to feel more connected and you realize, well, instead of working at home, I could actually go work at the coffee shop and like make some friends with the regulars. And then when I go into work, I'm going to feel more connected. Or maybe you realize that, you want to feel more connected. And so you decide to pick up a couple hours working. I know one of my Starship captains did a couple shifts at her local yoga studio because it gathered time with people. She actually made a bunch of connections. And then she joined a knitting group because what she wanted to feel was more connected. So she didn't have a knitting business either. She joined the knitting group and then she ended up finding new customers for her other business. So maybe you want to feel confident and you've been working like me in your PJs on your couch. Maybe what would make you feel confident is to get dressed each day and go into an office and work, or do your hair and work. Maybe what would make you feel confident is talking to somebody who always makes you feel good about yourself, or having your stuff pre-scheduled. And so you're going to start pre-scheduling your stuff. You see, you can take the way you want to feel and actually embed it in the stuff that you're doing for your work, but you don't have to worry about that right now. It will just happen. If you focus on how you want to feel, you'll start to see ways that it influences your work, maybe changes up your work day a little, maybe changes up your projects a little. maybe changes who you decide to work with. But first, just make up that list of the things that make you feel how you want to feel, and then review this list regularly. Do the stuff on the list. Feel the way you want to feel. So I just shared this in a Starship Q&A, and they really liked it, so I'm going to share it here with you. Jay has been telling me, and this is going to apply to you, I promise, your job is to be Peak Tarah. Because when you're a peak feeling good Tara, you very easily record podcast episodes, write new classes, teach people, help people, answer questions. That just comes easily and you enjoy your work. But if you focus on the stuff on your to-do list and you don't take time to be peak Tara, doing the stuff on your to-do list, like writing podcast episodes, helping people, answering emails, is always very hard. But if you instead made your focus being peak Tara, all of that stuff gets easier. But doing all that stuff will just make you tired and worn out. It won't lead to peak Tara. So do the stuff first. Prioritize the stuff that makes you feel like peak Tara. So for me, it's getting up at the same time. It's using essential oils, taking my vitamins, getting in sunlight. I actually did a whole video called their mental health checklist. I'll link it up in the show notes. It's on my YouTube channel where I talk about the things to make, like the checklist I go through to make sure I'm going to have a good day. And then the things I do when it's not a great mental health day. And that is basically being peak you, because peak you is what makes your amazing business work. If you don't have peak you can't solve problems. You won't be as creative. You won't come up with great products. You won't be able to connect with customers when they're talking to you. Now, totally understandable. Things happen in your life that take the shine off peak you. But so when those things happen, you want to go back to your list of things that make you feel peak you. So you can do the best you can do with whatever situation is going on, right? So that you can refresh yourself with whatever's going on and you can get through better whatever's going on. So start by making a list of things that make you feel how you want to feel. I'll link up that video about other things you can do to shift your mood. But your list is going to be specific to you and how you want to feel. It might be totally different from everybody else. Maybe instead of getting dressed and going out, you just want to put on your PJs and stay in. That's okay. Maybe how you need to feel is rested after a year of going out a lot. Now, my third tip is to review what worked from last year. Girl, you are not starting from scratch. You have already done some stuff. Even if you haven't done some stuff in your business, you've done some stuff in your life. Like you have learned some skills, you know stuff. So you want to remember what you've learned last year, what worked and what didn't work, and apply that to this year. So you're not starting from scratch. You're not unsure about what to do. You know what worked, what's going to work, what has worked. You have learned some stuff about your business. So take that, apply it to the coming year. Like, don't make yourself start like you don't know anything. Use the lessons you've learned. I actually, in my book, Map Your Business, I have a whole section where you write about the lessons you've learned from the last year, and then you write about how you're going to bring them into the new year, how you're going to bring them into your next projects, the next things you're working on. So don't make yourself start from scratch. Learn from last year, and this coming year is going to be even better. You're going to be even able to do more because you've already got that base built. Now, my fourth tip is to narrow it down. I know you don't want to hear it because you're a creative, you got a lot of passions, you got a lot of projects, you got a lot of things you want to do. But here's the thing. Everything is not equally important. When you think about the projects you want to do, they aren't all the same equal importance. If you pick one thing that will help you feel the way you want to feel, one thing that will move your business forward, one thing that if you poured your time and energy into it, it would make an impact on everything else, and you just pick that one thing and you work on that one thing, you're going to see far more progress than if you spread yourself out about 500 things. Now, that doesn't mean you don't do a lot in your business. Like I answer emails, I post on Instagram, I do the podcast each week, but those are just the basics of what I do, but then there's a project I'm working on, and the project I'm working on should be the thing that's most impactful. And sometimes you think you picked the most impactful project, you realize you didn't, and so you're going to go back and you're going to change it up, and you're going to change what you're working on. So by picking the one thing, it's like there's a theory or a practice called the first domino. It's like if you have a whole domino set up, right? All the pretty domino picture, and you hit the first domino, it causes all the other dominoes to fall. You might not always know what that first domino is in your business, but if you look for one, you try to identify it, and then you prioritize that over the other stuff you could work on, you're going to see a bigger change in your business this year, and you're not going to feel as scattered. I know it's hard. We all have a million things we want to do, but I can tell you from experience that when I work on too many things at once, nothing feels like it got done. And then I feel burnt out and I feel like I haven't made progress and I feel disappointed. But when you really pick just a thing and you focus on that thing, you'll be amazed at all the progress you make on it. So pick one thing and do that first. Now, I'm not saying it's the only thing you'll do all year, but it might be the only thing you do all month or all quarter. If you need help on how to get clear about where you want to go, how you want to feel, how you can bring the lessons into the new year, how you can pick one thing and make a doable plan for it, I teach you how to do all that in my book, Map Your Business. You can find it on Amazon. I've got it linked up in the show notes. It will actually guide you through reviewing the last year, all the lessons you learned, picturing where you want to go, big picture in your business, and then boiling that down to what will you focus on in the next 3 months, and then identifying what you're actually going to do. So you have a doable plan and you can move forward. And then after that section of the book, there's monthly review worksheets where you can review what went well, what didn't, what you learned, what you're going to carry forward every single month. Because if you just keep going with the same stuff over and over and it's not working, nothing's going to change. You got to review and see and then grow from that. So you can find Map Your Business on Amazon. You can find the link below wherever you're watching this. I'm sure links up to it. And you can find the links to that and all my past New Year's episodes. I've got several, I think 4 or 5, over at tarahswiger.com/podcast239. I hope that this helped you plan your year, and I hope you check out those past episodes if you need a little more planning inspiration. You can find them all at tarahswiger.com/podcast239. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm wishing you a very enthusiastic day and year.